So let me guess, you're not doing your strength training or you're not doing it as much as you know you should do. And it's not that you don't believe in it, you know that it's going to help. It's that in your head, doing it properly means 3 or 4 hours a week in the gym, and you simply don't have that. With balancing a busy work, family, and social life, it feels impossible to balance it all. So the strength work becomes a thing you'll start when things calm down, which ultimately never happens. So here's what I want you to take from this video. That picture in your head is completely wrong. You don't need hours. Two solid, well-built 30 to 45-minute sessions per week will be more than enough for the vast majority of runners over 40 to get huge amounts of benefit. That's it, just two 30 to 45-minute sessions per week. So in this video, I'm going to give you the principles to use so you can actually build some proper running specific strength work into your routine and actually be consistent with it. So if you don't know me, my name's Joe. I'm a physio, marathon runner, Ironman finisher, and I work exclusively with competitive runners over 40 who want to build a body that matches their engine so they can arrive on race day with a body that's ready to perform. When runners say, I haven't got the time for the gym, it's usually not really about the hours. There's research on endurance athletes where time was far and away the number one barrier to strength training that was reported, because over half of them named it. But the problem isn't the clock. The problem is the picture. Because when you imagine being consistent with strength work, you probably think in your head it's going to be long, complicated, sweaty gym sessions with loads of gym bros just trying to get big muscles. You've got to do 20 complicated exercises and then trying to fit that in after a busy day's work, managing family life, trying to have a social life, and then also get all your run volume in. It feels impossible to balance it all. But the fix isn't needing to find hours and hours. It's all about shrinking that picture in your head, because two focused sessions built properly beat a vague plan with 5 complicated random sessions you never actually do. So number one, you need to get very clear on your goals, your short, medium and long term. The first thing that bloats a program is having no clear target. So you just try and throw everything at it. So you follow random exercises you've seen on YouTube or Instagram just in case, because you want to make sure all bases are covered. But that's how you end up with a session that takes an hour and a half. You need to strip it right back. And to do that properly, you need to name your short-term goals, your medium-term goals, and your long-term goals. So short-term might be settling down a niggle that keeps flaring up. Medium-term might be building that calf and hip strength that you know that you're missing. And long-term is a real prize, arriving at your A race with a body that's ready to perform. And here's the key. You don't train all three at once with equal weight. Your program has focus right now, usually the short-term one, while quietly serving the long-term goals in the background. So when the short-term thing is sorted, so for example, you've been focusing on doing some slightly more specific rehab work and some accessory movements to strengthen up some weaker areas, and you've seen some real progress, your focus can then shift towards your medium-term goals and doing some proper strength conditioning work and building up your load capacity. You don't want to be trying to do everything all at once. You need clarity on what is the actual goal out of each session that you're programming, and then you need to program all the constituent exercises, reps, sets in the appropriate way to achieve that goal. But making sure everything is nice and specific and you know exactly what you're getting out of the session means it has a clear focus, and you get rid of all of the fluff that ends up taking hours and hours and hours that actually isn't really effective. Number two, and it is a similar point to be honest, it's all about making every exercise earn its place. So this really is the big time saver. So pick exercises that do more than one job at once. So what I mean by that is most runners waste time because they do their performance work and then a separate set of prehab exercises and then some mobility exercises as 3 different blocks. And that might take half an hour on each. Then you've been in the gym an hour and a half. And then again, it all comes back to that, well, if my gym work means an hour and a half in the gym, how am I going to fit everything in? You end up going from 2 sessions a week to 1 session a week, 1 session a week to every other week, and then it just falls by the wayside again. So what's super important is to pick some key exercises and movements that will serve your goals, but also work multiple muscle groups at the same time. So say, for example, you take a single leg exercises like a Bulgarian split squat. If you load this appropriately and properly, you're building raw strength and power that carries straight over to running. So that's your performance work. But because it's also single leg and it demands control, you're also hammering hip and glute stability, and that also helps to reduce a lot of the common running injuries and can really help with the performance as well. So you've got one movement there, it's performance and resilience together, and it works some of the key muscle groups in a fantastic way. So again, it's just really having a good understanding of what am I trying to get out of my workouts, and then picking the exercises that are going to give you the most bang for your buck in that time. And number 3, progress load, don't keep swapping exercises. So this is one that's so common with runners, and it's where people burn time and ultimately make very little progress. They change their exercises constantly, new sessions every week, everything looks different, feels productive. Actually, that's why you're not really progressing at the rate that you know you should be. And when you're not seeing the progress in the gym and you feel like it's going to take ages, it's so easy for it to fall by the wayside. To see real strength improvements over a certain movement or exercise, it actually takes a long time. And if you keep chopping and changing because you feel like you need to mix things up, have variation, you're never staying the course and you're never doing the reps that are needed to actually see proper progress and actually achieve the goal that the session is built around. It is very common, again, you want to mix things up, you want to keep it fresh, particularly if you find strength work a little bit tedious and boring. The idea of doing the same exercises over and over again can get frustrating. And it's not like you need to do the exact same programming week on week, month on month, but you also need to find that right balance, because if you're randomly chopping and changing for the sake of novelty, you're not going to actually stay the course long enough with those key movements and compounds to actually get the real lasting progress. So it's vital, again, it all comes back to having a clear goal, knowing what you need to achieve out of each key session that you're building, and building the workouts and exercises to achieve that goal, and actually having the consistency and the focus to just execute on that plan and not keep changing things willy-nilly because you feel like you want to. So that is the model essentially. Know your goals, pick a handful of good lifts, stick with them, and add a small amount of load every session or every time you start to feel the exercise is getting a bit easier. The progression comes from consistency and adding load to those exercises, not from random novelty and chopping and changing because you want to feel productive. So hopefully that's made things feel a little bit more manageable for you, because if you're at the point where pain and injury is well managed and you're trying to improve your performance, 30 to 45 minute sessions built around your specific goal and having the key compound movements and lifts matched to that, all you need to do is just be consistent with it over a longer period of time, and you'll get huge performance and injury prevention benefits from it. But if you're a runner over 40 who's constantly dealing with niggly injuries, no matter what you try, I'd really recommend watching this next video, because I've broken down some of the key reasons why runners over 40 pick up more injuries and pain and aches as their running volume and intensity starts to build, and it will give you a clear, actionable framework that you need to follow to understand why it keeps happening to you and what you need to do to get to the root cause so you can arrive on race day with a body that's ready to perform. So go and watch that video now.